This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Oakland Athletics.
And the pitch is swung on, hit the right field, hit deep. Whitefield going back at the track, over his head, and over the wall. Do you believe that?
And 29 other MLB clubs.
Ramirez with a drive to deep right, away back, goal!
Hey, hits a bomb out there by the Rocks. And boy, oh boy, this third inning is now showtime.
It is a Judgian blast. All rise. Here comes the judge.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe, from humidors to spin rates to game-changing moments. We have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us next from the town, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Well, welcome to the second half of the MLB season for the Oakland Athletics and the rest of the 29 teams. Chris Townsend with you here in San Francisco at the NBC studios, along with Commander Cody. We are fired up, but I got something. I feel different today. I feel absolute. How am I feeling? You want to know how I'm feeling?
Yes, I think everyone does.
I want you to play a little song to tell you how I'm feeling today to start the second half. Little Gene Autry.
I think Angels.
Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus.
Remember when you were a kid
Santa Claus Lane,
and you'd wake up and you know your parents are not up because they were drinking with their whatever family the night before, but you got to wake them up because you're dying to get out to see what Santa Claus brought you. You can't sleep the night before because it's Christmas morning. We're getting to watch batting practice here from the studios. This is better than the view that we have when we're actually on the field there at the Coliseum. We're getting to see the entire batting practice. All right, that's enough.
Well, I was going to let play through. I'm just kidding.
At least turn it down.
That's it. We're good.
I mean, that's what it feels like.
I know it's Christmas in July, but
this is, it's Christmas in July. Somebody actually has a Christmas in July parade in California.
why? But I'm not surprised. Everyone loves.
Can't remember who it is. I saw in the news.
Everyone loves the holiday season.
Yeah, there's a bar in Green Bay, Wisconsin that is, because I went there with the Raiders. That's year-round Christmas. It's decorated year-round. They got the trains going and everything's decorated with lights year-round Christmas. I got to tell you, I feel like it's Christmas Day. If you're an A's fan right now, no matter how tough things have been, if you're still going to stick with, okay, the baseball process, I don't know how today is not an exciting day. Because it's been a long time. You know, it's been a long time since the draft has done anything. It was a long time ago Matt Olson was drafted. It was a long time ago Matt Chapman. Quite a few years Sean Murphy. You haven't really seen anything. You've been waiting. All right, where's the next? We are always waiting for the next. Once it ends, and this always happens, you have a run, it ends. You have a run, it ends. Well, we've been talking about who is or where are the next guys to take us from the darkness to the light. And it's finally here. I've been so tired of writing these names in my scorebook day after day of non-competitive, this is awful. You can say what you want. You can make whatever excuse you want. It's been non-competitive. You can blame who you want, but bottom line is you sign guys to compete, and they couldn't compete, and they're terrible. And these are guys that are veteran guys who've played Major League Baseball, and they got a track record. I'm tired of seeing him. I'm tired of seeing them. I've been tired of seeing them, and I've been show me the young guys. Damn it, give me the young guys. I'm tired of watching 200. I'm tired of watching guys over 30. I'm tired of people telling me that the Oakland A's are this young rebuilding team when you got a bunch of 30-year-olds on the team. They have not been. For the last 2 years, I've been saying it, and I've been saying it, and I know people got tired of hearing it. They weren't young. When you're 28 or older, you're not young in our game. That's not the future. 31, 32, 36, get out of here. It's time to play the young guys. And they're finally here. Come on down. I've seen Zach Geloff one time.
I was with you.
When he was playing in Sacramento, we were in San Jose watching Stockton against the San Jose Giants. And the Ports were in town, and I saw Geloff, and he was playing third base, and I went, I like the way that guy looks. And I know, Moneyball, we're not selling jeans. I like the way he looks. He's big, and he can swing it. Well, now he's a second baseman. I don't care where the hell you put him. Put him in the lineup. I've been telling you, Tyler Soderstrom is a prodigy. His father is going to join us. Steve is going to join us here in a few minutes. The pride of Fresno State. Got a cup of coffee with the Giants, former first-round pick. This kid's been a prodigy. He's been playing. His dad's been training guys for years, and Soderstrom has grown up playing with these guys who are older than him. He's been a prodigy. Let's go. Let's see him in the lineup. Let's see the future. Let's see the future now. Stop giving me a bunch of old guys that can't hit and who are part-time players. Tired of it.
I saw Soderstrom play this weekend.
And then finally, we're seeing it. And also more great news. So not only is Soderstrom here, Soderstrom was ranked number 34 overall by MLB Pipeline. You got Geloff rated number 3 in our system. They're showing somebody's parents. I don't know who the parents are. We're getting to see who's in the ballpark right now. But there's also more great news, A's fans. Lawrence Butler promoted to AAA. Brett Harris promoted to AAA. Darryl Hernaiz promoted to AAA. We just had Bobby Crosby on talking about these guys and what they mean to the future of the A's. The future is coming because once you get to AAA, that means you're not that far away from the big leagues. And if you have someone like Lawrence Butler go up to AAA and light it up, that means, at worst, what, you see him in September? At worst?
Yeah.
Now we as A's fans, we got something to watch. And there's going to be great nights. There's going to be nights that are a struggle. But it gives you something to watch. It gives you hope. It gives you a future. And this is what's finally here. So you get to see Soderstrom. I still predicted. Who did I predict at the beginning of the year to lead the team in home runs?
That'd be Tyler Soderstrom.
Tyler Soderstrom. He's got a second half to do it to catch Brent Rooker.
What's Rooker have, 15 or 16?
I think 14.
What he has? We had 2 before the All-Star break. So
yeah, I remember he was on 12 forever.
I think Rooker now has, let's see. Brent Rooker has 16 home runs.
16. That's going to be a tough haul to catch him.
That's a month for Ohtani. You can do it.
So, this is a good day. If I feel like it's Christmas, I'm running out. I'm looking to see what Santa left us. What did Santa bring? He brought me a Soderstrom. He brought me a Geloff. And then I'm hearing for my birthday later on after Christmas, I might be getting a Lawrence Butler, a Brett Harris, and a Darryl Hernaiz. Hernaiz is someone kind of under the radar. Cole Irvin, part of the Cole Irvin trade with the Orioles. Bobby Crosby talked him up, and Bobby's not going to just sugarcoat things. Bobby Crosby loves this guy. Loves him. This kid could be the true shortstop of the future. Nick Allen, you better start playing and you better start hitting. This is where this goes back to for you 49er fans. Pretty funny. Yesterday, still in Orange County on vacation at El Torito's next to the airport before I flew back home. No, 2 nights ago. NFL Network was airing the legendary game of the Niners 2011 against the Saints.
Oh, it was a great game.
Great game. I was there. So to go back for you 49er fans, Jim Harbaugh said what about players inside your own organization? It's a famous, famous quote that a lot of people have used for a long, long time. You don't know.
I don't remember.
Iron sharpens iron. That's what you're getting. You want to play? You want to play? You better hit. And you know what? Veteran guys, this is the tough conversation, right? This is the tough conversation. Well, hey, listen, what about my at-bats? You're hitting 200. You know why we're calling these guys up finally? Because you're hitting 200. Because we gave you months. We gave you months. Alemis Diaz, Jace Peterson, Tony Kemp, you got months. You didn't hit. You want to see Rucinski some more? Nope. Aguilar, you're already gone. The future is now. Finally, the future is now. And this takes us through the second half. This takes us into spring training. It takes us into the offseason. It gives us something to watch and to care about, and it gives us a reason to show up and be fired up every day. Well, let me tell you something. I'm fired up because I've been calling for this, and we've been rewarded. The young guys are finally here. Let Shea Langoliers play. Fail or succeed. Nick Allen, let's go.
Guy in the box right now, Ryan. Well, they can't see, but Ryan Noda.
Ryan Noda. Ruiz. What are you going to be, Ruiz? Because right now, Ruiz, fun as hell to watch at times, and at other times, he's frustrating. His defense stinks. He makes bad decisions. He can't bunt, and he doesn't walk. But what does he do? He hits. He's got the hit tool.
The one time where we can't use that, he gets on base.
And he can run. Let's see him get better. Let's see Ruiz get better. Let's see Noda still play. Let's see Soderstrom play. Let's see Langoliers. And hopefully we'll see Butler and Harris. And at some point, Denzel Clark come on down. Max Muncy, 2.0, promoted to AA.
Correct.
Yes, talent, young talent. Not a lot of this garbage that you got in trades that's amounted to nothing. Let's face it. These trades, we have to praise it. But these trades have amounted to so much of it is nothing.
Yeah, we just saw one of the guys get let go from the organization and claimed by the Mariners, Adam Oller.
Where are your guys all these years? Where's the first rounders, second rounders, third rounders, fourth rounders? Where are they? Where are they? Who are you drafting, and why are you drafting these guys, and why are they not getting to the big leagues? Well, now they're starting to. No more excuses. Let's see.
Because remember, for a while, we were talking about how the only guys of the age drafted on the field at a certain time were Hogan Harris and Seth Brown. This before Nick Allen came. Now you have Nick Allen, too, but that was
Seth Brown taken in, the 26th round? What round was he?
Like 15th or 16th. Still
19th, I think.
Yeah, still later in the draft. Hogan Harris was the third rounder.
If you're sitting here in a rebuild and you're bragging that Seth Brown's the one guy you drafted,
that's not good. But
that's not good. And then if you're looking like, hey, man, we had to ditch all these players and we went out and got traded for a bunch of guys that none of them are showing up. Half of them you traded for were hurt and they continue to be hurt. It was a tough sell. Trust us, we got to sell it every day. You know what? This is something to sell. I want to watch Tyler Soderstrom get 4 to 5 at-bats every single night. I want to watch him play first. I want to watch him DH. I want to watch him catch. I want to see him get a glove and go out into left field. He's a good enough athlete. He can do it. We'll have his father on in
2 minutes.
In 2 minutes.
DHing hitting 5th tonight. So
Geloff, I want to see Geloff second base. Unless Geloff is tired, I want Geloff at second base. I don't care who's pitching.
Second base hitting 6th tonight.
Nolan Ryan or Sandy Koufax could be on the mound. I want the kid in there. But what about not about what abouts? That's a tough guy. Then that's the tough conversation that Mark Kotze's got to have with the veteran guys. Sorry. I went with you as long as I could, right? I mean, are you trying to tell me they didn't get ample amount of time and at bats?
No, they did. That whole first half of 90-plus games. Well, it was 92
You had
games.
more than a first half. If your name is whoever, you had more than an entire first half and got plenty of at-bats to say to yourself, I should be playing every single day. And there's energy. Look at our social platforms. Look, you don't think there's going to be energy in the clubhouse? You don't think there's going to be energy in the dugout? when everybody starts to know the young guys are coming, I mean, it's great for the ball club. Do we have Steve? Steve, welcome back to A's Cast Live. Congratulations. I know this is such a huge moment for your family. We've talked about it. We knew it was finally going to happen, but what is it like as a proud papa? Your son is in the big leagues.
Pretty much, there's not too many words to explain it, but getting ready to watch him take batting practice for the first time, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, we're in the studio in San Francisco, and we actually have a camera on batting practice right now. We can't wait to see it. Just talk about what the mentality is like for your son right now, what you guys have talked about, because obviously you have the experience being a number one pick and playing in Major League Baseball for the San Francisco Giants. Just talk about what the conversation you guys have had before this game.
It's kind of been a crazy week. My mom actually passed July 4th. So and then he was in the Future Stars game. So it's been a wild week. We flew to Seattle. She plays in the Future Stars game. We come home for my mom's funeral on Tuesday, who he was pretty close with. So it was a hard day. And then we wake up Wednesday morning and he gets the call that he's going to the big league. Just a huge, crazy, range of emotions. And so yesterday, he's like, "Hey, Dad, we got to go down and hit in the barn." So I was like, "Let's go." And so, we were hitting, and I was, kind of waiting for a good time just to, chat with him because he was hitting with a couple of his buddies that had just been drafted too. And we finally got home, and I said, "How you doing? Like, you got a big day coming up." Like, he said, "Dad," he goes, "It's just another baseball game." And I said, "Well, it's actually not." But so it was funny to listen to him. He goes, "Dad, it's just another game with a different guy on the mound." And I said, "Well, I appreciate that, but I said the day's gonna, it's gonna be exciting. You're gonna have to try to control your emotions, but you're right. You gotta take it as another game and try to enjoy it as much as you can." I know my day was, I was so nervous. I don't think I didn't enjoy it as much. And I said, just take today and get out to the field early and take it in and really enjoy it. Then it's baseball, right? The guy's he's got to throw it over the plate. And if he throws it over the plate, you got to hammer it. So that was kind of our conversation.
Yeah, it's so tough to tell somebody just enjoy the day. I mean, obviously you went through it after a great career at Fresno State and getting drafted by the Giants. I mean, that you want to impart your wisdom, but it's so hard for these young kids. You remember what you were like. It's so hard for these young kids to really realize. But yeah, this is such a special day to just sit back and really enjoy every moment of it, because it's going to go by so fast.
It's going to go by fast, and it's hard for me to wrap my head around that he's only 21. I think I broke in at 24. This game seems to be getting younger and younger, and here he is at 21, going to make his debut. And obviously special day, and he's been waiting for this day since he was drafted back in 20. So great day. I just baseball, so it's just something he's got to try to enjoy and just take away what he gets out of it.
Now, you got a lot of people that are coming up from the Central Valley. Actually, one of my former teammates at San Jose State's going to be here. A friend of yours, Mike Carrig, and your guys' kids grew up. And I got the text from him that your son was coming up. Just how big is the traveling party from the Central Valley coming up here for this game?
Well, just the amount of texts and calls I've got, I think it's going to be a pretty good crowd. And, there's a lot of people along the way that, not just us, but, put a lot of time into him. And I know, a lot of them are coming. So it's going to be pretty wild. And, there's going to be a big turnout from Central Valley for sure.
When I think about him growing up and you teaching a lot of people there in the Central Valley, let's just remind people that your son has been playing against older competition his entire life, which has helped groomed him and help him play older than he actually is. Just talk about how competitive and how he grew up always playing against older guys. And it's one of the reasons why I don't think he's going to be overwhelmed when he comes up.
Yeah, he was always around. I mean, I go back to like just, Brett Cumberland and Kevin Kramer, some guys that would work out with at our facility. And, when he was 12 and those guys were, in college and breaking in, and, we'd get, these guys would break out the Iron Mike machine, right? And we'd be throwing, or not the Iron Mike, but the 3-wheel machines. And, he was, I was always into like, hey, you can't be comfortable like when we're working out all the time. You got to be in a game situation that's stressful. So he was, he's faced guys, like you said, that are older. He's been facing, off the machine when he was younger, 95 miles an hour, and he struggled. But when you do it all the time, and you got to learn with failure sometimes. So I was always a big component, and be around older guys and just, try to fit in best you can. You might not do it, but it's going to help you in the long run.
Now, the last time we talked to you, we talked about what a good athlete he is. I know he's been catching for so long. They've now had him playing first base. Long term, where do you think long term defensively he fits in the big leagues?
Yeah, I mean, I want him to catch as long as he can. I think he can do it. I know there's a lot of opinions out there that says he can't, but as he gets older, I think he can do it. But I'm also a believer in, if you're squatting back there for 150 games, it's obviously going to take a toll on your bat. So, I love the idea of him catching a couple days a week and also mixing in at first base, DH. I think the game is, and again, this is my opinion, but I think the more versatile you are, get in the lineup. I mean, he just wants in the lineup. So he said if he can get to the big leagues, he'll play anywhere he wants. So, and he's here now, and so it's going to be interesting to see where they end up.
You've also got to see Zach Geloff play. What do you think of his game?
Zach is just another kid that's coming up. That's got great bat to ball. I mean, he's a patient hitter, but he can also, do some damage when he's swinging. And again, he's another athletic kid that you can play almost anywhere too. So I'm just excited that he got to come up with him. They came up at the same time. He's played with Cody Thomas here at the top. So, and Lede. So it's nice that at least he's played with some guys this year and he's comfortable. He got some time in spring training to get to know a lot of the older guys, which is good. So it's exciting. And they're all just such good baseball players.
Well, I got to tell you, for A's fans, it's like Christmas Day. We've been waiting for these kids for a long, long time. Hey, next time we do this, we usually do the show on the field for day games, but I got to be in San Francisco today to do television. So next time we do this, let's do this in person on the field.
I'd love to.
All right, congratulations. I know how much this means to you, how much it means to your family. I'm sorry for your loss of your mother, but a very special day. So I know he's going to enjoy it, but you enjoy it too because you've worked real hard to help make this happen.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate you guys getting me on, and definitely going to try to enjoy it myself. I don't know where I might find myself in the upper deck somewhere so I can kind of hide, but we'll see.
Hey, congratulations. Enjoy.
Thank you. Good talking to you.
Former number 1 pick by the San Francisco Giants. He was a great pitcher out of Fresno State, ended up getting called up with the San Francisco Giants. And then now he's just a proud papa. Steve Soderstrom, a lot of people from the 90s will remember him. He was one of the top prospects in all of baseball. He was a star at Fresno State, got a chance to play against him. A guy that I played with, Mike Carrick, whose son was just drafted, I believe in the second round by the Arizona Diamondbacks, is going to be there tonight because they all hang out and then Mike's kid is friends with Tyler. So,
there he is.
There he is. We're watching him take BP now. He is filled out as a man. That is the one thing. So in spring training, this is the first time we got to see him because, of course, we have everybody here on A's Cast Live. And then he was picked what year?
2020.
Yeah, it was in the COVID year.
Yeah.
So we didn't get to see him, right? We only saw him on Zoom.
Yeah.
Or what were we on? Google
Meets. Yeah.
We only got to see him on Google Meets, and he looked like a high school kid, but he looked developed for a high school kid. So this year, he comes out. If you got to watch the spring training shows, we had him on in spring training, and he came out, and you're like, he's grown into a man.
Yeah.
He didn't look like a high schooler. He doesn't look like a developed high schooler like he did last time we saw him. He looks like a man at the plate now.
If you missed the interview, youtube.com/athletics is Cast Live playlist. You can find every interview from spring training, including Soderstrom.
Yeah, he's no joke now. He's legit.
I saw him play in the Futures game Saturday. He looked great. I know I think he ended up going 1 for 3, but still, he had a walk. 1 for 2 with a walk. Yeah. Lawrence Butler was 0 for 3, but Lawrence Butler looked good too. It was good to see those guys play in the game.
The new what did Lawrence Butler coined it? The new Oakland. New Oakland's here, man.
Yeah, those and the guys that are coming
up here. I mean, folks, if you're sticking with us from the baseball standpoint, New Oakland's here. And the fact that as thrilled as I am now to see Soderstrom, as thrilled as I am to see Geloff, I'm also thrilled, can't say it enough, Butler, Harris, and Hernandez all called up to AAA.
And Muncie to AA. So I know that's 2 levels below, but still.
Guys coming.
Yeah.
It's guys coming. And then they drafted, 11 whatever pitchers?
11 pitchers.
11 out of the 21 or whatever it was?
Yeah, 11. Yeah, 11. Yeah.
I mean.
Freddie Tarnock's up too. Another guy. I know he's from the Braves, but it's another.
We haven't announced that yet?
Yeah, he's on there.
We've announced.
Yeah.
Because we interviewed, today's the Marcotte show. It's a Friday, right? But we did it at 9 a.m. And Kotze was talking about, we're calling up Freddie Tarnock. I'm like, we haven't announced that yet. So Freddie Tarnock, who that's part of the Braves trade, was he Murph or was he Olsen?
He was Murph. He was Murph, yeah.
Yeah. So he's in the Sean Murphy trade. Let's go. We need to get something out of these trades.
So those 3 are up. And then what else happened? Left-handed pitcher Richard Lovelady, 15-day injured list, retroactive to July 11th with a strained left forearm.
Lovelady, before he got hurt, was throwing the ball well.
Yeah. I thought he was a very good left-handed
Great
option.
Interview, too, Richard Lovelady.
Manny Pena back on the injured list, 10-day injured list with a retroactive July 11th.
36 years old.
Left wrist contusion. And then Tyler Wade was outrighted to AAA Las Vegas.
Bip Roberts, who I'll be doing the TV with tonight. I didn't see this. I was on vacation. Tyler Wade booted a ball and then walked to it during the Boston series. Or you're on vacation too.
I heard one of my friends text me about it, that what happened. Said, I guess it wasn't a great play from what happened from Wade in Boston. I don't know what day it was, but he told me about it earlier today. I had no idea about it until you mentioned it.
And look at the way the pitching's set up. What are you getting? Waldachuk, Harris, Sears. Waldachuk, Harris, Sears. Like, let's start forming a young nucleus right now and hope that you can move Diaz, Kemp, Peterson. Those 3 guys got to have value for somebody.
Yeah. There's another guy.
You're getting nothing for him, but you just respectfully, hey, appreciate it, especially Tony Kemp, what he's meant, the type of person he's been inside this organization. Move them on. Who else? Am I missing anybody? I want Brownie to stay.
There's another guy that's been mentioned a little bit more lately, and that's Brent Rooker. His name's been thrown around.
Oh, my God. If you could get something for Brent Rooker right now.
National guys like Mark Feinsand and
what about Blackburn?
Jim Bowden mentioned it. Blackburn. I haven't seen Blackburn's name mentioned a lot.
Because Blackburn.
But he's, 20? How old is
29?
Well,
it's about to be 30.
Paulie Punch out. How old is Paulie Punch out?
Stop.
Blackburn's 29. He'll be 30 in December.
If they trade him, I won't be mad. If they keep him, I won't be mad. I like Paul Blackburn. He's a good guy.
He's not a free agent either until 2026.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could keep him and kind of be a mentor. So you start with Blackburn, and then you go Sears, Harris, Waldachuk, Medina, I mean, however you're going to do it. Mason Miller, hopefully, my guy. I mean, I'm never going to count on Mason Miller. I don't mean to burst anybody's bubble, but I'm not counting on Mason. I mean, I will never be like, well, Mason Miller's here.
Mahler. Don't forget Mahler.
Kyle Muller.
Yeah. Opening day starter.
Not Mahler. That would be the Milwaukee Mahler. Kyle Muller. Yeah. You start, you need competition. You need a lot of starters, but you're starting to see it. I mean, pitching is the problem, but they drafted a bunch of college guys, and hopefully college guys. Hey, I've already had a conversation with Bip Roberts about this. Bip has a business meeting today, so I'm not sure if we're going to get him on. I said this earlier. You're going to hear this with Mark Kotze. If your goal is strictly, I just want to get to the big leagues. Right now, the A's is the best organization in baseball to be in. Because right now, there's a yellow brick road. You can be Dorothy and the yellow brick road right to the big leagues. There's nobody in front of you. There's nobody stopping you. Every single organization right now, Ryan Noda is a great example. Who was in front of Ryan Noda?
Some guy, I won't say future Hall of Famer, but Freddie Freeman.
Very good player.
Yeah, very good. I mean, he probably will be Hall of Famer, but Freddie
Freeman does this for long enough. Yes, he will have a plaque in Cooperstown. One for your right fielder in LA.
That Mookie guy.
Who will be a Hall of Famer.
Yes, he's already, his war's already there.
I mean, there's certain organizations you're just flat out blocked. You got no shot. Or they got to do this and move. Not the A's. Is there anybody blocking anybody right now?
No. I mean, if you want to really dive deep, Soderstrom blocking Susac. That's about it.
What? You don't even have a for sure position for Soderstrom.
Yeah, well, I was thinking, okay. Well, actually, Langoliers is blocking all of them, but
Johnny Bench comes into this. Johnny Bench comes into this organization right now. You'll never hear from Shea Langoliers again. If you're a legit player, right? If a young Pudge Rodriguez or Johnny Bench came into the Oakland organization, you wouldn't even be talking about Shea Langoliers.
Agreed.
There's nobody blocking you. This is the best place you possibly could be. I said that to Bip Roberts. I was curious what he'd say. He said, oh, yeah, of course. Because Bip was blocked back in the day. I mean, Bip Roberts, think about Bip Roberts. Bip Roberts had to hit 355 to get promoted from AAA. You know why?
Roberto Alomar?
Gary Templeton and Roberto Alomar were there.
By the way, I used Bip yesterday on Immaculate Grid.
Did you really?
Great Tiger Padre.
Ooh. You didn't use Indian Royal Bip Roberts?
No.
So there you go. This is where you want to be. This is you want to play in the big leagues. Your fastest chance to the big leagues right now is in the Oakland A's organization. And I know some people, everybody's, we can't control everything that's going on outside the organization, but to these kids, they don't care. They want to get to the big leagues. Your fastest journey to the pot of gold right now is in Oakland. It's your fastest journey to the big leagues. You get drafted. These kids who got drafted, you got no excuse. I wish I could talk to this draft class. You think David Force would have me talk to this draft class?
We have a pretty good relationship with David. I'm sure he'd let you talk to him.
We're talking to David Force on Monday, right?
Correct, yeah.
David, let me stand up in front of these kids, and I'll tell them, if you don't make it to the big leagues, it's on you. You have the easiest route that you've ever seen in Major League Baseball history to the big leagues, other than maybe an expansion team.
Fair.
You got nobody blocking you. There's not one guy with a guaranteed contract. There's not one guy that has to be here. There's not one guy you can't leapfrog. There's no future Hall of Famer. There's no All-Star. I mean, you could say Brent Rooker's the All-Star, but come on. I mean,
hey, double in the game.
There's nobody. This is the fast track. I just got fast track.
That's true. We set it up today.
Got the fast track right to the big leagues.
And then
If you're a baller, if you're legit, if you are, mark my words, if you're legit, you got nothing standing in your way to the big leagues. You could be here next year. 3 Angels from last year's draft have made it to the big leagues this year in Anaheim.
Correct.
You're a baller out of college. You show up, you dominate, you could be here next year.
You ball.
You get the call,
there you go.
Deion Sanders.
Hey, I will say this about A's first round pick, Jacob Wilson. If he can hit at a little bit like his dad and play defense, he'll be up here soon. Jack was a great defensive shortstop.
Jack Wilson could flat out pick it back in the day. And his son's 6'3".
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Selfishly, I'm excited.
You know
about
what
that
scares me? You want to know what scares me about our first round pick? And I'm going to tell him this when we have him face to face. So one thing that scares me. Do you know what that is?
No.
He doesn't strike out.
12 strikeouts in 2 years.
He doesn't strike out. Doesn't sound like an Oakland A. You can be in this organization and not strike out? You mean you got bat to ball skills?
You're telling me he could be better than Stephen Kwan and not striking out?
I mean, when I heard we drafted
or Luis Arraez.
When I so you know follow the draft because you get every pick on your phone, right? The A's selected, and I went, we didn't take a catcher, and we took an athletic guy who doesn't strike out.
We didn't take a catcher until like the 12th round.
I mean, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is a great pick because right now, unfortunately, Nick Allen hasn't hit. Logan Davidson is just getting to AAA, and he hasn't necessarily had great bat-to-ball skills. This kid has got back-to-back. Once again, you go out and you dominate, there's no reason. You're a college guys shouldn't be in the minor leagues that long. Geloff was drafted in what, 2021?
Yeah.
21. You're a college guy. You shouldn't be in the minor leagues. Mark Kotze told us that. Forget the front office. Our front office, to me, is conservative. Mark Kotze, our manager, in our last interview, right?
Yeah. I go to the draft, yeah.
I asked him about that. I said, when you're a first-round pick, Mark Kotze was like, yeah. I mean, Mark Kotze was a first-round pick. Mark Kotze did not expect to be in the Marlins organization and being down, or I should say in the Marlins minor leagues that long.
Yeah, he came up at what he talked the 98 season because he was on the World Series.
He was
team.
up in 97.
Yeah, he was on the 97 team, but he talked about 90. He mentioned the 98 season was like his first.
You're not
there very long.
Yeah, you're legit. You're legit. You get the hell out of the minor leagues fast. So all these college guys that the A's drafted this year, pitchers, world's your oyster, man. Throw strikes, get outs. You be in the big leagues in no time.
Look who's taking BP.
Ramon Laureano.
Oh, he should be back soon. The wrist looks good. That's what it was. Wasn't a wrist thing for him?
I mean, that's going to be another thing we're talking about. It's like, okay, great. But does he fit the profile of where you're going?
No. He's what, 28 now? Willie from Roan's 28. Same age as Rooker.
I mean, what do you do?
There's another guy where we want to see in the lineup.
Jordan Diaz every day. He's in the lineup today, right?
No.
Who is?
The lineup today is, let me get to it. We got
Peterson.
We got Noda leading off.
Yeah.
Noda leading off. Blade hitting second.
Great.
Rooker hitting third.
Great.
Brown cleanup.
And I'm going to tell you why great with Rooker in a second.
Sodi fifth.
Great.
Geloff sixth.
Awesome.
Jace. Lange.
I'm going to tell you why. I'll get to why I'm okay with that.
Langoliers and then Nick Allen.
Okay. You want to know why I'm okay with Rooker and I'm okay with Peterson?
Sure. Let's hear it.
You're trying to showcase to get rid of him.
Yeah. Okay. Is that Cody Thomas, by the way? I think so.
Yeah. You're trying to showcase him. I'm fine. 2 more weeks. It's what? 2 more weeks till the deadline?
Yeah. August 1st.
2 more weeks?
Yeah. 14 days. What's today?
And I doubt these.
Well, it's like 2 weeks and change.
Well, I doubt these guys are going down. This is not Verlander down to the last minute.
Oh, Ohtani last minute?
No.
Well, we'll get to that later.
Did you have to go there?
No, I'm just saying.
I'm tired of hearing about that angel hack, Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, those guys.
I think these guys will be moved.
Yeah,
they're not going to be moved at the last hour. So yeah, about
it
another 2 weeks.
Could be the next week or
Fine.
so.
If you want to showcase them for the next 2 weeks, but once August 1st hits, I don't want to see any of these guys.
Jordan Diaz has to be in every game.
Yeah, Diaz has to play. Geloff has to play. Soderstrom has to play. Ruiz has to play.
Blade
has to play.
Noda.
Geloff. Noda. Hey, put Noda out and left.
Yeah. I mean, that was the thing that
Cody Thomas.
Yeah.
I know Cody Thomas is young from a standpoint of experience, not of age, but, let's see this guy. He's a terrific athlete. Let's see him. Let's see these guys. That's what I want to see. I already know what Ramon Laureano and Diaz and Peterson and Kemp and all these guys. I mean, it's tough. Seth Brown is the one guy I want to stick around, though. I think Seth Brown is a great mentor. I think he's the kind of guy that totally gets it. He's learned kind of the A's way. Brownie. Somebody's got to be the adult in the room.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You got to have an adult,
and
Seth Brown will be perfect for that.
And it's not like he's like a 10-year veteran. He's been in the league for a few years, but he knows the ups and downs of going up and down from Oakland to Vegas and Oakland back and forth and injured list.
He'd be Oakland, Nashville.
No, he's Vegas too.
Was he Vegas?
Yeah.
But he was Nashville too, wasn't he? Well, how long have we been in Vegas?
I think Vegas was our first year in 19, maybe. Because we kept saying how Fran Riordan had the greatest offense in the history of baseball. Fran, by the way, Vegas has the second most home runs in AAA. Just saying, greatest offense ever.
So what do we got? I'm so excited about young guys. I've lost track of time. What do we got?
We got Eno Saris at 5, so we still got 20 minutes. By the way, Matt Olson and Ronaldo Nunez. That's if you want to use him for Oriole A grade on the or Detroit on the Macular Grid ever.
You can use my grandfather today, by the way.
We did use that 0.03%.
As a Brave Pirate, that would be a Boston Brave when my grandfather won the MVP in 1947.
So Matt Olson, the number 3 prospect, and Nunez, the number 5, are the last A's top 5 prospects to make their debuts in the same game. It was in a 16-3 win over Kansas City. That's courtesy of our crack research staff. I didn't have a chance to fact check it, so guys, you better be right.
Who said it?
That'd be Marcus. So
who? Oh, our guys.
Yeah, our guys,
okay.
our crack interns.
Okay, yeah, I trust
our crack staff. Yeah, we'll see.
And then if we're wrong, you blame it on the interns. Yeah. I mean, plenty of people have blamed career mistakes on interns.
Yeah, if they're right, then we get the credit. If they're wrong, they get the blame. That's how it works, kids.
See, that's how Cody is. See, I would give credit to the kids. I would totally give credit to, hey, Marcus, great job. You'll take the credit. If it's wrong, you're going to throw him under the bus.
Where's that Michael Jordan meme about the kids or whatever? I'm not going to.
Are you going to do a crying Jordan meme?
Yeah.
Can you imagine drafting Michael Jordan and keep him in the G League?
I'm just laughing because that's Peyton Manning playing in the NFL Europe or the XFL or USFL or whatever the 1,000 leagues we have now.
I mean, just think about that era, right, of players. We're going to draft Magic, Bird, Barkley, Jordan, Isaiah, then
Dominique,
Pat Ewing, Olajuwon. You think of all those great players from that era. Karl Malone. We're going to draft those guys and put them in the minor leagues.
John Stockton can't make it up. He's too small. He's developing the G League.
Chris Mullin, Golden State Warrior. We're going to keep him in the minor leagues.
He looked good playing in Santa Cruz. That's where Warriors G League team plays.
Can you imagine that? I mean, seriously, that's what we do in baseball. We take these super players, and I understand Soderstrom being, but yeah, you shouldn't be there that long. You really shouldn't be. If you look at legit players, they don't sit in the minor leagues for years. Are there outliers? Yes. But really good players? I mean, take the guy that I got to meet at the very end, and he was such a sweet man, the great Al Kaline. Al Kaline was 18 years old playing for the Tigers.
Prom one day, major leagues the next, pretty much. Not realistically, but pretty much.
People like Ken Griffey Jr. did not need to spend one day in the minor leagues. Will Clark talks about it. Like, I was ready to rock. Comes up, first at bat, boom, home run off Nolan Ryan. How long do you think these guys need to play in the minor leagues?
Perfect example. The guy that went number 1 in the draft, Paul Skeens, at the Pirates took. They're saying he could be the most generational talent in Strasburg. He's going to pitch in AAA.
If you're throwing 100,
he's going to pitch probably low A or double A.
If you're throwing 100 miles an hour, how long do you need to stay in the minor leagues?
It's great. I mean, it's a great point. Strasburg was down there for a couple. How long was Strasburg? Like a year.
For what?
Yeah, we knew how good Strasburg was. We didn't know.
We're going to control. Trust me, it's all financial. We're going to control clocks. What do you think sending a guy to Double A is that? You're throwing 100 miles an hour with a nasty breaking ball. You should come right up.
Remember when the Royals made
especially on a team like this?
The Royals made the World Series the first time, or was the second time? They called up the guy that was just pitching. Brandon Finnegan was pitching in the College World Series like a couple months earlier. I think it's like the last time I remember seeing Mike Leake was called up the same year he was drafted. Doesn't happen very often anymore, but there are guys that could do it, but they just don't do it because, as you mentioned, for financial reasons and controlling the clock.
All these guys are just throwers now. This isn't like you think guys throwing 100 miles an hour are setting up hitters?
No.
Let me talk to you, the public out here. Do you think these kids, or even guys in the big leagues who are all throwing 100 miles an hour, they have 2 pitches? You think they're setting up hitters like the old days where there's 4 pitches, you're throwing strikes, you're adding and subtracting, as they like to say? Everybody is up here throwing 100 miles an hour with a slider. That's what everybody does. How long do you need to stay in the minor leagues to do that?
Yeah, realistically, you think you'd be ready to go.
I mean, seriously.
Well, you're sleeping on the sweeper.
They're all throwing the same stuff. It's just fastball, breaking ball. Throw it as hard as you can. Everybody throw like a closer. Do you need time in the minor leagues to learn how to just try and strike everybody out? Eno Saris is going to be on today. He's going to tell you, by the way, their hitters have finally caught up. You throw enough sliders, no matter how hard you throw. We have so many sliders now. The slider, here's a great example. Go to Baseball Savant and look up Luis Medina's numbers. His slider gets drilled. There's no one's fooled anymore by the sliders because they see so much of it. You keep showing these big league hitters fastball, slider, and then the next guy fastball, slider, and then the next guy, and then the next day, and the day. You've gone a month of seeing nothing but hard fastballs, hard sliders. Guess what? Everybody starts to look the same.
What did Andrew Chafin tell us? Remember when we traded?
Fastball up, fastball down, breaking ball in the dirt.
Yeah, there you go.
Fastball up, fastball down, breaking ball in the dirt. That's all I do. Well, that's it. That's all you. Yeah. Well, and you stink. So, you had a little bit of a run. We're gonna play. What time are we playing?
5. So 13 minutes.
13 minutes. Eno Saris are starting to really break it down that these data guys got everybody to start throwing one way. Remember, when you have everybody thinking the same way, everybody starts doing the same thing. Offensively, what did everybody become? Strikeout, walk, home run. Everybody in baseball, it's what Moneyball has led us to, right? Everybody started looking at the data. Well, they all have the same data. They all have the same data. What new data could you possibly have?
Great question. I know Baseball Savant added some new stuff, but
yeah, StatCast. We're hiring NASA engineers and spin, and there's only so many different things you can do with the baseball. Whatever. Everybody's got the data. Everybody's the same. So everybody became 3 true outcomes. Well, everybody wanted sliders, so sliders become the most thrown pitch in baseball. Everybody's doing the same thing. Problem is, data has taken you to a certain point, but what happens? Humans adapt. The hitters are adapting. They're now seeing velocity. You just heard Steve Soderstrom, the father of Tyler. Tyler's been seeing high 90s to 100 his entire life. These kids are seeing fastball slider combination, hard, over and over and over again. And what do human beings do? That's something that we always rip about human beings, but one thing that we are pretty good at as human beings are, especially the best human beings with the best minds, we adapt. And hitters are adapt. They're starting to crush sliders because they're seeing the same thing night after night. Why? You don't even need video anymore. You don't even need a scouting report. What's the guy got? Throws hard, has a slider. The rest of the stuff, I don't even look. How many times now this year, probably the last 2 years, have you seen hitters take fastballs right down the middle because they were looking slider?
A lot.
But right now, what we're seeing, the data is starting to show a lot of these pitcher sliders are getting hit because they're throwing it so much. Hitters are seeing it so often, it's not having the same success. Very interesting. So Is baseball going to start evolving? Eno Saris will talk about this once we get past the Shohei Ohtani stuff. Is baseball going to evolve to where, hey, wait a minute. Remember as a starter, you wanted 3 to 4 pitches? Remember you wanted that? Keep guys off balance and all that kind of stuff. And you're not trying to strike everybody out on you're not trying to strike out every hitter because that leads to a higher pitch count. I want to go deeper in games. I don't know. Maybe it is, but you're seeing the data people who are outside the organizations. A guy like Eno Saris is going, alarm bells are going off. Sliders are not as effective because hitters are seeing it too much. You're showing somebody the same thing too much, night after night after night after night. And if you start seeing the same thing and everybody starts looking the same, he's big, he's right-handed, he throws hard, it's a slider. I mean, you get used to it. You get used to speed. You get used to speed in any sport, right? That's the first thing college football players talk about the NFL. What's the number one? There's 2 things that all my years covering the draft and covering rookie guys coming into the NFL, there was 2 things that dramatically were different from the college game. You can guess one. Speed. Guys are just faster. Everybody's just faster. Everybody. Right? The offensive guys, they come in the league and go, wow, these DBs, even the linebackers, everybody's just faster. The number 2 thing, the biggest difference between college football and pro football, the second thing is the physicality. You're now playing against grown men who are playing for a living. These aren't college guys. You're playing against the best, and everybody's a monster, and everybody's looking to take your head off. The speed and physicality. Well, we can't really say that anymore about Major League Baseball versus minor league baseball because all the guys in the minors are throwing 100. Guys in college are throwing 100. Everybody's throwing hard now. So it's not like years ago, the guys that threw the hardest were in the big leagues, right? You came to the big leagues and wow, man, velocity. Is there a difference in velocity?
No, it seems like everyone throws 98 or above now.
Everybody. Every level. Especially the better teams in college. You look at College World Series, you're seeing 97 plus. So there's not that advantage anymore when you get to the big leagues from a standpoint of a pitcher going, hey, no one's seen my stuff. Man, they've been seeing these kids in the high school. If you watch the combine, they got kids throwing 100 miles an hour from shortstop. Ellie De La Cruz averages 97.5 miles an hour on his throws from third base. He's not even on a mound.
Yeah, him and O'Neill are like the 2 hardest throwers. It's crazy. It's crazy they throw that hard from shortstop. Even Tatis had a throw from right field to home that was like 95 miles an hour or something.
Velocity is not. It's not like you come to the big leagues now and see velocity. Velocity is everywhere. So what's the change from just seeing fastball slider on a consistent basis? What are you going to do? I've said it. Medina, the scouting report, Medina has a big, nasty hook. And what do we see consistently?
Slider.
Scott Emerson. When are we going to see more of this? When we see more changeups? Because the fastball slider combination is getting ripped. It's getting ripped by a lot of different guys. That's where Garrett Cole's fascinating. And we heard on the way up, top 5 storylines. Of course, they're going to do a New York storyline. But the thing I love about Garrett Cole is still, I'm establishing old number 1 first. And I'm coming after people. Verlander still does that. Then you're going to see the stuff. But you're still going to, so many pitchers come out, starting pitchers. What's the first thing they're showing? Slider. First inning, third inning, they're slider. It's not fooling people anymore.
Yeah, Garrett Cole's fascinating. I was looking at his numbers on the web here. And the storyline is, can he win the Cy Young? Which, it would be his first because he lost out to Verlander every time. It could be. I mean, there's 2 guys that are battling with him, his former teammate and McClanahan, although McClanahan's hurt.
Yeah.
But Framber Valdez is quietly having another very good year.
Framber did not end well the first half.
So is an area under 3.
Yeah, we got lit up his last couple.
The win-loss record isn't there. It's going to be a big deal. 7-6.
The Battle of Texas is on. Are we going to get how much time do we got?
It's almost 5. We should break and then play Eno, and we'll come back and talk for minutes, and then play Katse, and you go do television, Ace pregame live.
I'm all in, man. I'm so excited about this second half. I'm telling you, I feel like a kid in Christmas. I'm excited. You know what? Don't even tell me what the final score is.
Does it matter?
Nope. Wins and losses. Nope. Just tell me what these kids did. These kids are going to lead me back to the playoffs. I love playoff baseball. I love broadcasting playoff baseball. I love being in the Coliseum for playoff baseball. These kids get us back to the playoffs. If we're in the playoffs in 2 years, are you going to come to me and say, all right, I'm going to give you an example. Can I prove a point here? Do you mind?
Oh, sure. I was going to ask you who the last A's player to be drafted and debut in the same year. This is another trivia point from our crack research staff.
He was our interpreter. Cuban.
Who?
Ariel.
Yep, Ariel Pareto in 1995.
Ariel Pareto, right?
Yep. He was 25 when he debuted.
That doesn't count.
Hey, that's technicality. I don't know.
That doesn't count. But, I mean, it's true, but it doesn't count. I'm talking. Let's talk a guy who was drafted.
He was drafted.
I know, but drafted. He played.
He was drafted in the first round, 5th pick.
Yeah, but he played on the Cuban national team. I'm talking a kid out of high school or college.
He was in that draft anyway. Before you prove your point, number 1. Who went number 1 that year?
What year?
95.
95.
From Nebraska.
Was he the punter?
Correct.
The Angels. What the hell's his name? He was the punter for the football team.
He was an outfielder.
Yes. What's his name?
Darren Erstad.
4th
pick that year, Kerry Wood.
That was my senior year of baseball. What year did where did I go in that draft?
Yeah, I'm looking. I don't see any San Jose State guys on here. I don't. I think you just missed.
I was hurt. All right. 2 years from now, if we're in the playoffs, are you going to say, hey, what happened that July 28th game against Colorado in Colorado?
It's a couple weeks. That's gonna be a shootout.
2 years from now, if we're in the postseason, will you be talking about July 28th, 29th, and 30th in Colorado? Rocktober ain't happening.
Oh, interns are correcting. They're saying, okay, they said 1978. Tim Conroy from high school is the last guy to be drafted in high school.
Well, no. What year was
by the way, the 78.
Mike Morgan? What year was Mike Morgan drafted? Mike Morgan went straight. Charlie Finley drafted him number 1. He went straight to the big leagues. What year was Mike Morgan drafted?
1978 as well. He made it.
So don't tell those kids. They don't know. I don't need a computer. It's all right here.
Well, no, but Conroy was the same. Or he was the same year too, though.
Oh, was he really?
I'm trying to. Yeah, here he is. Conroy drafted in the first round, also, just like Morgan, and debuted in 1978.
Well, they didn't have Mike Morgan.
Oh, he's from Gateway High School. That's not that far from where I grew up. Mike Morgan was first round, 4th overall that year.
Yeah, what was Conroy? He was
20th.
Late. Yeah, he was late. Why do they not have Mike Morgan on there? Their computers didn't have that?
I guess not. By the way, how many
artificial I beat the artificial intelligence.
By the way, that A's team was 69 and 93. So of course those guys debuted.
Yeah. Are you going to be 2 years from now if we're in the playoffs with these young kids as they're blossoming? Will you be talking about August 11th, 12th, and 13th of this year?
No. But I will be worrying about what they did. And
wait, you're not going to be worried about that?
I'll still be looking back at the big winning streak in Pittsburgh and Milwaukee.
Because that's a big matchup against the Nationals in our nation's capital. Here on out, folks, don't tell me about wins and losses. Mark Kotze is going to talk about wins and losses. I get it. That's what he gets paid for. But everything from here on out is how do the kids do? Coming up next is Mark Kotze, as excited as I am.
Eno Saris.
Oh, we're doing Eno Saris?
Yeah.
All right. Omaha. By the way, I heard how he came up with Omaha.
Oh. Tell me during the break.
Okay. Omaha. Coming up next, Eno Saris, our national baseball columnist. Ohtani. He's the most fascinating player we've ever seen. And now what do you do if you're the Angels? What do you do if you're another team? Do you trade for him? Well, you're going to be able to get him at the end of the season. He's going to be a free agent. It's fascinating. Eno Saris next. Man, it's Christmas Day, folks. You're listening and watching A's Cast Live. This is Chris Townsend, and it is summertime. You want to look your best, and I can't tell you how excited I am. Commander Cody, we've got our new shipment from Link Soul, all the summer gear. So whether you're playing golf or you're going out for dinner, you're hanging out with your buddies, or you're going to the beach, go see our friends at linksoul.com. And right now they have an offer where you can get 20% off. Go to linksoul.com. Remember, in the big leagues, look good, play good.
Get your superhero squad together and join forces as we take on the Minnesota Twins on Saturday, July 15th during Marvel Superhero Day. All fans can enjoy this special Marvel-themed day at the ballpark, along with fun photo opportunities, character appearances, and in-game features as part of the fun. Get there early to snack a Captain Marvel bobblehead presented by Extra Mile. Tickets start at just $10 and are available at athletics.com/tickets. That's athletics.com/tickets.
Chevron with Techron has unbeatable engine cleaning power, and it gives you unbeatable mileage for all kinds of unbeatable destinations, like time in the sun at the beach, or time in the sun riding roller coasters, or a day in the sun hiking mountains. Well, probably just one mountain would be enough for a day, but hiking a mountain is still an unbeatable choice for how to spend time. Download the Chevron app now to get unbeatable mileage at locations near you.
Put on your favorite cowboy boots and get ready to see the best fireworks in the Bay Area on Saturday, July 22nd. Saddle up for a one-of-a-kind country experience during our third fireworks show of the season, presented by UBO.
As the pitch to Langolier, swung out a fly ball to left field, hit well. Going back far, show at the wall, looks up, and it is gone!
After the A's take on the Houston Astros, enjoy a mix of the best country hits as you watch the show from the field. Tickets start at just $10 and are available at athletics.com/tickets.
This is Chris Townsend, and if you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see my friends at the Chicken Pie Shop at Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
It's Kids Cheer Free all summer long. Bring your kids ages 14 and younger to the ballpark on Sunday home games for free. After the game, race around the bases with Stomper on the same field that your favorite A's players do. Get your tickets now at athletics.com/kidsfree.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
Summertime is golf time in the Bay Area, and that means it's time to enjoy the beautiful vistas, 27 holes of championship golf, and all the amenities that Cinnabar Hills Golf Club has to offer. Cinnabar Hills gives you a variety on the course and in their amazing grill. They're ready to give you an incredible experience for any family, business, or social gathering. Nestled in the quiet hills of San Jose, summertime fun awaits you at Cinnabar Hills Golf Club. Learn more at cinnabarhills.com. That's cinnabarhills.com.
Thanks to the Xfinity 10G network, my little brother's friends won't leave our house. When I was their age, internet with basically no interruptions was a pipe dream.
You sound like my grandpa.
Now through September 21st, new customers can get 1.2 gig internet plus unlimited data for just $25 a month for 2 years with no annual contract. When you add Xfinity Mobile, go online, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires PayPal split and auto-pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity internet. After promo, regular supply to internet service and Wi-Fi equipment. Actual speeds vary.
Unlock offers and receive exclusive in-game features by downloading the MLB Ballpark app for iPhone and Android today. Plus, get the latest information on game times, schedules, and more.
Streaming from the town, A's Cast Live continues with Chris Townsend. The Eno Sarah Show is sponsored by Fieldwork Brewing Company. With 8 taproom locations in Northern California, Fieldwork brings you fresh craft beer direct from the source. Fieldwork will also ship beer direct to your door if you live in California. Visit fieldworkbrewing.com.
Oh, Eno Saris, welcome to the second half. How are you?
I'm doing great. We recorded this earlier, and so right now, as you're hearing this on the radio or wherever you're hearing it, I'm poolside with the beer. So cheers.
Well, good for you. So, yeah, as we're recording it, and it's early in the morning as the start of the second half, so as this is being played, you're sunning yourself. Where will you be sunning yourself when this is being played?
My friend is house sitting at a house with a pool here in Palo Alto, so it's been nice and warm finally this week, and so we're gonna put our feet up and have a couple brewskis.
Rich people. It's always great to hear about what rich people are doing these days.
I don't know. House sitting is not normally something you hear.
Or living like rich people.
Yeah.
Okay, so all the talk the next 2 weeks is going to be, is he going to get traded? Is he not going to get traded? Should he get traded? Should he not get traded? What should the Angels do? Who are the teams that could trade for him? Who has the capital? Who would be best served? And it's so funny to listen to people. It really, this time of the year, it really shows us people's biases, right? You see where their true bias, like from like you guys are national media members, and you're supposed to cover all 30 teams.
But we know where the views are the highest.
Yeah, you know exactly. Like all of a sudden, Fox, everybody's now going to the Yankees or the Red Sox. Our man Buster Olney's coming out. Obviously, he understands ESPN. It's Yankees. I mean, if you're here locally, it's like the Giants should do it. So you start to get everybody's biases real quick. But let's first start with the Angels. Good move or bad move to trade Shohei Ohtani?
I think it's a good move because some of this is reading the tea leaves. How likely is he to, sign? How have you tried approaching him for an extension? How has his reaction been? And when he goes to the All-Star game to represent your team in the All-Star game and starts talking about how it sucks to lose, you kind of lost him already, and so then you start looking at, well, what can he do for us now? What can he do for us this season? Because he may not be around in the future. And you have to look over at the playoff odds. You're a game below 500. You're in a division where you have to win the division to make the playoffs. I think it looks like that because the entire AL East is at least 5 games above 500. And so, there's a big possibility that the second place team in the West doesn't even make the playoffs. So you're the Angels, you're a game under 500. Your chance of winning the division is 3%, according to Fangraphs. And your chance of making the playoffs is 10%. You're getting to the time where you're about to cut the cord, and you lost Mike Trout. You lost your other best player. So I think it makes sense to start thinking about what can trading Shohei Ohtani do for us in the future.
It's so interesting when Ohtani talks trades, or I should say he talks about winning, because there's no guarantees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he could get traded anywhere. And that's why I think when you're looking at potential suitors, I think the Yankees are a decent one, but they're not the most amazing one, because I think if you're Shohei Ohtani, you want to go to a division winner. Right. And the Yankees right now, they're doing fine, but they are 9 games behind the Rays, and their percent chance of winning the division is not that much better than the Angels. It's 4.6%, according to Fangraphs. So, if they're not a division winner and they're not on the West Coast, which seems to be something that Ohtani likes, then you're not necessarily in the pole position. One thing the Yankees do have, I think, that does make them attractive is a bunch of prospects that are close at good positions and of the right quality. I looked at like rentals, right? Because Ohtani's just a rental. And normally, in order to get the best prospects or get to young players back or whatever, you think about the Max Scherzer deal. Max Scherzer was a rental. He came with Trey Turner, right? And so that was, yes, a rental of Max Scherzer, but also a year and a half of Trey Turner. So it was not, it was a package deal, and that got them Cabert Ruiz and Josiah Gray over in Washington. But it was the addition of Trey Turner that made them get more back. So if you look at back at pure rentals, Manny Machado is the last pure rental that really moved the needle, that got a lot of prospects. He got a bunch of, in the parlance of scouts, so 20 to 80 is the scouting scale, right?
Yeah.
The future value of the best prospects in the Manny Machado trade were 40. So a 45 is a major league regular. So they didn't give up anybody that was projected to be a major league regular. And if you look back, the best player that they gave up to get Manny Machado was Dean Kramer, who's kind of like a fifth starter for the Orioles, and nobody else really panned out. So I don't think, and this is tough because Ohtani's so singular, maybe he would get a top prospect, but teams are not giving up their top prospects. Like top prospects going into the season were like Corbin Carroll and Gunnar Henderson. I don't think Anthony Volpe is going back to the Yankees.
No.
Going back to the A's for Angels for Ohtani.
We'll take him on the A's. They want to send Volpe to the A's.
So I think that top end is already out. Like even if you're talking to the Padres, Ethan Salas, like that, he's already a top 30 type prospect. I think that might be too much. So when you start looking at the lower, like the sort of around top 50 prospects, Jason Dominguez from the Yankees. He's supposed to be the Martian. He's really big. He's got power. He's pretty exciting as a prospect. He could be the headliner. And so the Yankees have him and could add a bunch of other players. That might make sense. For the Dodgers, I think the headliner might be somebody like Michael Busch, who's just up, got a little swing and miss, but can play second base and can play an infield position that the Angels kind of need. And then my dark horse is Baltimore, who has Joey Ortiz, who can play short and second. They could throw him in with some other starters and kind of give something that the Angels need. But I think that the real easy favorite, and this is not just because they're in a big market, the Dodgers are 60% to win the division, and they are on the West Coast, and they have the prospect capital to do it. So I think that's the team. I mean, the Braves are going to win their division, but I don't know that they have the prospect capital to pull it off.
One of the problems that I always have with sports media, especially baseball media, is they're very poor at knowing about real business, right? No offense to writers, but writers normally, they're not very business savvy. They don't have their own businesses. They haven't done a whole lot of business. They're writers. They're really good at writing, and they're good at talking to people and researching and sourcing, but they don't always understand business. And when I hear a lot of the talk from these writers, I think a lot of them are getting it wrong. This isn't Hunter Pence and the Giants trade for Hunter Pence, and Hunter Pence comes to San Francisco and loves San Francisco, and he re-signs, never hits the market. That's not this, all right? That's not this. This guy understands his return on investment. He understands the amount of money away from the baseball field that he is worth.
Yeah.
And he's played the game till now. He didn't sign for a whole heck of a lot. He hasn't made a whole heck of a lot. He now knows how much he means monetarily to a franchise, both here in this country and what he brings over from Asia, especially from Japan. So it almost is ridiculous when I hear people say, well, trade for him now and woo him. This isn't Hunter Pence, gets on a scooter and he lives on the Embarcadero. He's gonna put his services out there.
I doubt there's a discount. You're right.
There's not. There's where the winter meetings is in Nashville, right? We're going to Nashville.
Yeah, he's gonna be open for business.
Yeah, he's going to have a suite, and he's going to have his people.
The only pushback that I have, though, is he already went through this process, right? But in the last process, there wasn't any dollar signs attached to it, right? There was one deal you could give him because you were getting him as a prospect almost. So he'd gone through the process, and the past time he went through the process, stuff other than money mattered. Proximity to Japan, I think proximity to winning, maybe Mike Trout, whatever it was that wooed him to Anaheim. It wasn't money. So there are things other than money. And if I had to put myself in his head, from what I know of how he trains and how he thinks about baseball, I do think maybe a team could convince him that they're on the cutting edge of coaching, technology, data, and he would
But
like
you're going to
that.
have to come with a boatload of money.
But you'll also have to come with a boatload of money.
You're going to have to, you can show me all your Rapsodos
and it might
all
give
your
you
high-tech cameras.
it might give you this much advantage.
Yeah, you better come. And that's where
You're
the other
still going to
thing
have to put the $500 million bag on the table.
yeah, if you want, if you got to fly out as parents and it's all about being close. I mean, and that's the other thing about the Dodgers. It's like the Dodgers are already kind of saying, we're going to go with what we got.
That's what they've been doing the last couple of years a little bit, yeah.
So if you're the Dodgers and you already know he wants to be on the West Coast, you can offer him the most money. You can offer him why even trade for him?
Yeah, just try to get him in the offseason. And you
just
can
wait, because
I'm sure you can convince him on a visit to LA that you're super data friendly and tech friendly, and
he already knows everything he needs to know about the Dodgers.
Yeah, exactly.
He lives there.
Yeah.
Right? He knows Southern California. So it's like everybody's like trying to talk this up and everybody's trying to create content, but the reality is he's going to have a big suite. Everybody's going to have to come to him. They're going to have to woo him. Whether you trade for him or not.
If you're like the Cincinnati Reds or even, my dark horse, the Baltimore Orioles, or a crazy ass San Diego Padres who just give up their last two prospects to get him, there's no way that he's like, oh man, this was so much fun. Like, yeah, I'll sign an extension right now.
Yeah. We have interleague play, man. You play everywhere. So it's not like all of a sudden Ohtani would look an hour away and go, oh, this place San Diego's cool. Like what? Like he doesn't know San Diego.
He just played there. He was just there a week ago.
He's never been to Dodger Stadium. He's never been to San Francisco. He's never been to the Bay Area. I mean, it's like this isn't like yesteryear. These guys, I mean, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
If you trade for him, my point is don't trade for him thinking, ooh, we're going to get him in here and he's just going to sign it.
That's why I think he goes to a division winner type. It's for this year.
What about the Rays?
It's for the playoffs.
What about the Rays?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't actually see them, doing it. There's always like monetary concerns with players this much. Like it can matter. Who could be the headliner here for them? They're not giving up Taj Bradley, right? That's the guy who's pitching for them so well in the major league. So when you go to the next group, they've got a guy in A-ball, Carson Williams. I don't know. Maybe Kyle Manzardo, their first base prospect. They could maybe pull it off, and maybe they have the cash. It would be a killer move. It would be pretty awesome.
Well, it's not happening this week, and we're going to talk to you next week. So
Right.
We'll get into it more next week. Really interesting, because I have felt this with a couple of our pitchers where we were told these guys got great big curveballs, Uncle Charlie's, and then they get on the mound and slider, 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 slider. And everybody's just been throwing so many sliders. You've done the research. Hitters have adjusted. Slider is a great pitch. It also is the pitch that goes the furthest when it gets hung. They've adapted to sliders, and I've been like Luis Medina. I've been like, throw the big curveball, change the eyesight, throw that big hammer. You think of how many great pitchers: Nolan Ryan, Sandy Koufax, Dwight Gooden, Barry Zito. When you have that fastball big hook combination, it's a great combination.
Mm-hmm.
Hitters are adjusting to sliders and hitting sliders better than they've had in the past, and you've done the research.
Yeah, the OPS against sliders is the highest it's ever been, and it's a complicated thing because the ball is flying a little better this year, and there's the pitch clock and the sticky stuff enforcement. There's all these different things going in different directions. But if you look at the OPS against sliders, it's constantly been going up. And in fact, the OPS against fastballs has been going down a little bit. So what you look at over the past is we've been throwing fewer and fewer fastballs and more sliders. And so as you do that, I think that the simplest explanation is hitters are just seeing so many more sliders. They're preparing for sliders. There's more slider percentage in hitters counts is up to 30%. So if you're going to see a pitch a third of the time in hitters counts, you might actually look for a slider in a hitters count. You know, in the past, you'd never have done that. What would you do in a hitter's count? Look for a fastball. You know,
Well, now we see so many guys who just you'll see him up there at the plate and they take a fastball, and you go, "Why would you take?" Well, they're
because he was
slider.
looking slider. So what's going on now is hitters are looking slider more. They're training slider more. I think the pitching the pitching machines are better at replicating sliders. They're just seeing. Also, what happens is, you know, baseball itself trains playing baseball trains you, right? So if you're just seeing more and more sliders, you're going to get better at sliders. You're seeing them more. So it's just over time. What we're doing is we're getting closer and closer. Now, I think next year, what's most likely is pitchers are going to throw more sliders again, because for the past 10 years, every year they've thrown more sliders, more sliders, more sliders, more sliders. I think they'll throw more sliders again next year. And I think hitters are going to be even a little bit better against sliders. And at some point, so sliders are still a great pitch, and that's why people throw them so much. But at some point, it's going to get to the point where, you know, you've got to change it up. And a couple of quotes that I thought were really interesting. Joe Musgrove said, "Sometimes I throw fastballs in fastball counts now." He said, everyone's like, you know, I've done so much work on the spin that everyone just expects spin from me every time. And so I've thrown a couple fastball counts where the hitter was not ready for them at all. And so I'm mixing it up by doing what people always used to do. And then I just talked to a hitting coach that said that this is a really great quote here. Is it here? You got to go from... Basically, the best thing pitching can do is go from West Coast offense and then switch to the spread. And the idea is we've had these relievers. We've had starters acting like relievers. Throw fastball slider. Throw as hard as you can for 5 innings. Well, then you have relievers coming in and they're like, throw fastball slider. Throw as hard as you can. And the hitter's like, oh, well, you know, I've been doing this. Okay, so everyone's just going to throw hard and throw fastball slider. Okay, I can do that. It's all game, right? So as the starters become more like relievers, the whole game becomes more the same. And what did I say? The more you see the same, the more you get trained by it. And so, you know, that's why he's saying as a hitting coach, and the last quote is this. Gabe Kapler, I said, you know, you just had Bobby Miller in here, and you guys hung a 7 spot on him. And Bobby Miller's this fire-breathing giant prospect from the Dodgers who throws 100 miles an hour and has a great slider, you know. And he said, yeah, but, you know, it's actually harder for us to game plan against Michael Wacha types, you know, because they have a bunch of pitches, they have command, they know how to play with their best pitch and to kind of keep us off balance. And so that's what I hear when I hear West Coast offense to the spread. Like, I think starting pitchers need a little bit be more like what starting pitchers used to be: have a bunch of pitches, mix them up, have command, and be less like the relievers. Because right now we're just training. And I know Spencer Strider, he's great, and you know, I'm not telling Spencer Strider he needs to be any different than he is, but I'm saying to a lot of other pitches, you can't necessarily be Spencer Strider.
We're at a tipping point.
Yeah, it's close to it, I think.
Yeah, we're at a tipping point. And you've had all the data people who influence the game. Not that I'm against them, but they've influenced the game. Always do this. Always do this. Data says this. Data says this.
But you have to be careful that, I mean, data changes over time. So you have to be aware of
adjust.
changes. Yeah.
Humans adjust.
Yeah.
That's why the computers are taking over the world. AI is taking over the world. They adjust. Humans, that's the thing, right? That is a problem with human beings. We get stuck on something. We get stuck on an idea. We want to stick with it and write it out to prove ourselves right.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what the data people in our game do. And all of a sudden the game's adjusting, but data people have a hard time adjusting. For people who say they're so into the numbers, well, they have hard time adjusting because all of a sudden it means, oh, wait a minute, I've got to switch to other data and I may not be right.
There's sometimes it's like you have to be, you want to be right. And in the context of baseball, there still is a little bit of old school versus new school. And so if you come into a situation and you feel like, oh, I'm going to be attacked because I'm new school, I'm the data guy, sometimes you entrench. Right. And you're like you say, you want to be right. And sometimes also organizations are really big and you have 100 coaches. What's the easiest way to tell everybody something? Just be like, okay, this is what we believe. Here's throw a bunch of fastballs and sliders. You guys can remember that, right? All the 100 of you can remember. We think we love the slider. Throw all the sliders you can, you know? That's a lot easier takeaway than, well, if he has a good slider, yes, you should throw it, but maybe you should try to throw a lot more pitches and, develop command. But, but if the slider's great, you know what I mean? Like like nuance is hard to broadcast to an entire organization.
All right, let's end on this. Ballpark factors. Ballparks have changed. 2 we looked at where they changed things. 1 in Toronto, 1 in San Diego. Both made them more pitcher-friendly.
Yeah, they have these things of park factors where they try to look at how batters do in the park and away from the park and match it up. And, it's all math, but, sometimes it can be messed up by how the players themselves are playing. So St. Louis, the park factor has been changing. I actually think that's just because they have a great offense. And so if you have a guy like Paul Goldschmidt and he's happy at home, it can actually mess up the park factors. On the other hand, though, you have parks that are actually changing. So in San Diego, they changed the ivy. They changed the batter's eye. They put ivy over it. And, it used to be one uniform color. Now you've got that dappling, that ivy effect, a couple of 2, 3, 4 colors. And there's bushes where there's another like sort of textural thing. And if you look at release points, certain release points do better in San Diego than they used to. And I think that's because they're coming out of certain parts of the ivy and it's harder to see. So, that's something that I've seen before with batter's eyes. In San Francisco, for example, they don't paint the bleachers, right? And so they got these metal bleachers. You got a 6:40 start time. You got the sun coming in from behind you. There's not, in 6:40, there's nobody sitting in those bleachers yet. So you got the sun right into the metal bleacher, bouncing back right into the batter's eyes. And I've talked to batters, and they say, I can't see anything the first inning in San Francisco. The other one is there's a weird batter's eye thing in Houston where there's fans sitting really close to the batter's eye. And so now you're looking at ball coming out of fans, and that's terrible. That's the whole reason the batter's eye exists. In Toronto, a separate thing.
Are they doing that on purpose? Are they cheating in Houston? Is that another thing we can talk about?
Well, I wondered about San Francisco. I mean, you could just paint the bleachers. I mean, they could be a color. They don't have to be bright spanking metal.
Yeah. Do they? Well, it. So
and it's more of an advantage in the.
When does it? By the way, when does it stop in San Francisco? So, like, if the hitters for the visiting team see it, you say the first inning on average is how many minutes? By 6:50, 6:55, is that sun now gone, and that wouldn't affect the Giants hitters?
Well, I did this study when I first found this out. I did this when they were doing 7:00 starts. And what I found was that the Giants had a distinct advantage, home field advantage in scoring in the first inning. So I thought it was about an inning long. So and this is before the pitch clock, so I think you're talking about 7:10 to 7:40. But now you got 6:40. 6:40 starts. So you might have a bit of an advantage, sort of 6:40 to 7:40, 7:30. So in the first half of the game now, so there's something going on there in that batter's eye. I think that they're aware of it and they're just, their hitters know what to do about it. Wear sunglasses, or you're just more used to doing it. In Toronto, they made a change. So there's been this trend in baseball to have more party zones in ballparks, more places where you can drink and watch the game but not be sitting. So, what they want to do is create some party zones in the outfield in Toronto, and they brought some walls in, and they but they raised the walls in order to create these spaces too. And in the end, it's actually made a pitcher-friendly park. Matt Chapman and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. are struggling at home this year. And so I wonder how much of that has to do with the changes in the walls.
All righty. I just want to say this from the bottom of my heart. You know how much I appreciate you being on the show. I hope you get so sunburnt today sitting by that pool being a rich person today while we're all working. I hope you get sunburnt. I hope the beer is warm.
I overcooked the dogs.
Oh, yeah. The barbecue's terrible. Next thing you know, you overdo it with the alcohol. You feel terrible. You're in bed by 8 o'clock tonight. That's what I hope happens for you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate recording early. Thank you very much.
We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for having me.
The Eno Saris Show is sponsored by Fieldwork Brewing Company. With 8 taproom locations in Northern California, Fieldwork brings you fresh craft beer direct from the source. Fieldwork will also ship beer direct to your door if you live in California. Visit fieldworkbrewing.com.
You know what I'm talking about.
What, with him getting sunburned?
Day drinking, getting sunburned.
It's going to happen to me tomorrow.
Oh, God. Eno hanging out by the pool today. Had to go early. Everybody had to go early. Kotze had to go early.
What's going to be?
Eno had to go early.
It's going to be like 95 degrees in San Jose tomorrow.
Do we have, wait, what?
It's supposed to be like 95 degrees tomorrow in San Jose. Then same with Sunday.
Great, summertime. That's summertime. I want hot. Why does everybody not want hot in summertime? We just had rain every freaking day. Remember that? Every day you woke up, rain. Every day you woke up, landslides. Every day you woke up, flooding. What, you don't like hot weather? It's summertime.
I'm fine with it.
Fine with it.
We got a 3-foot pool at our apartment complex. I mean, 3 feet.
I have no problem with warm weather. I love warm weather. Now, you get like 103, 105. That's a different ball game. But 90s?
Supposed to be 118 in Phoenix.
What 90s? It's great. It's California. If you don't want 90s, live next to the water. I have no problem with warm weather. Warmer the better. You feel better.
Plus, my wife's gone this weekend, so I can actually use the air conditioning. She's a stickler about the air conditioning.
For the Bills?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. You guys are so cheap.
But that's, whoa. For the one time, that's her paying PG&E. I pay for cable or internet and cable.
Oh, you guys have split accounts as a married couple?
Well, we never changed it once we got married.
Oh, wow.
We don't, no joint bank account in this household.
Wow. Real easy. Just say bye-bye in that kind of relationship.
Well, we'd go broke because she buys everything on Amazon.
Wow.
I'm frugal, so.
Are we ever going to get to our top 5? Our 5 at 5?
We got a couple minutes. We can do it here.
We do the 5 at 5. Are we starting a new thing? 5 at 5. Top 5 stories at 5 o'clock.
You gotta tell me yours, and then I'll tell you mine.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. I actually have 6.
Oh, you wrote them down? Okay.
Because I was actually going to text you. So these are storylines. Some of mine are for really the end of the year. To me, at the end of the year, the Reds and the success of the Orioles, Reds, but I think really the Reds, they're going to prove that the model of throw money at it in the winter and win the winter meetings is absolutely an archaic model. It does not work, i.e. Mets and Padres. Nobody has committed more salary and has more on the books than the Mets and the Padres. The Mets, with the largest payroll in the history of baseball, probably, according to Fangraphs, they don't make the postseason. And the Padres, who have over $800 million. Get your arms around that. They have over $800 million. They're staring $1 billion in guaranteed salaries in the eye, and probably won't make the playoffs either. And here you got the Cincinnati Reds with Ellie De La Cruz. I get it's the Central, but it doesn't matter. Look at all their different guys that they got, young guys. Some of the young guys aren't that young, but look at what they got. Look at what the Orioles, certain teams have done. And here you got these teams that wrote these massive checks, and now they're going to have this debt for years. That's one. This would be, I guess, number 4. Angels by the end of the year will become baseball's biggest problem. Bet you didn't see that coming.
No.
Watch. We've talked so much about Oakland, talked so much about Tampa. The biggest problem for Major League Baseball is going to be the Angels. Ohtani's leaving town. You got an owner that wants to get out. They've got major problems with trying to get a new ballpark, and they need a new ballpark because their place is really old too. They've threatened to move more into, they're not even in Los Angeles. They've threatened to move into Los Angeles because they have what is truly territorial rights. They can move right up the next to Dodger Stadium if they want. The Angels, with Artie Moreno and the uncertainty at ownership, by the end of this baseball season, with all the talk about Ohtani, people are going to realize there's a major problem in Southern California, and it's with the Angels. Then throw on top all that money I talked about with the Padres. California baseball is going to be interesting in the next few years. All righty. Let's see. My next on the list, my 5 at 5. We're talking about, because we heard on MLB Sirius in MLB Radio, Sirius XM. Ohtani stays.
So this is number 3?
This is number 3. I'm saying Ohtani stays. I don't think there really is a market. I think the teams that really, really want him, they don't want to give up any prospects for him. They know they're going to be in a bidding war. I don't think there's really that many teams that are going to be able to get his services anyway. I think he's going to be a Dodger no matter what.
Agreed.
And I don't think the Dodgers are going to offer any prospects for him because they know they're going to get him at the end of the year. Dodgers have kind of written this year off. Hey, if they get into the playoffs, go deep in the playoffs, it's like a bonus for them. They want to get under that top luxury tax. Dodgers are ready to throw the house at him next year. I think everybody in the sport knows he's going to be a Dodger. So why am I going to give up all this capital? I think he doesn't. And I think for the Angels, their only chance to keep him is if they keep him and ride this thing out.
They're game under 500 right now.
So
no Trout right now.
I don't think Ohtani moves. I think all this talk you're going to get for the next 2 weeks is just a bunch of people need to provide content. And it gets clicks.
Yeah, the clicks and the content for sure.
I don't think he moves.
Number 2.
Number 2. By the end of the year, we will know that Aaron Boone and Chaim Bloom are going to be out in New York and Boston.
Sounds like a bold prediction.
The president of the Red Sox, who was brought in to bring him back to greatness, fired, and now who would be the longtime manager of the Yankees, fired.
Do you think Cora stays?
Yes.
Okay, so if you think he's out, does Aaron Boone go to Boston?
No. But those are 2 big names in our sport. I think those 2 guys are fired. They are shown the door.
Sean Casey, the new manager in New York?
I don't know.
New hitting coach.
How about that?
It's interesting. Well, Chaim, yes, we talked about that, but they really like Boone. Did he just get a contract extension?
No.
Oh, I thought he did.
That was Cashman.
Oh, yeah. Then maybe Boone could.
Cashman got the contract extension while we were at the winter meetings, if you remember correctly. Remember, he came by and we waved to him, Brian. He waved back. We said, "Congratulations, appreciate it, guys." Our friend Brian Cashman.
Your guy, by the way, and it's in the taking BP, Joey Gallo.
Oh God, Joey Gallo. And my number 1, it's going to be the owner's vote on relocation. How will they vote? That will be the number 1 thing. How are they going to vote? Because that also sets up for not only what happens with our own franchise, it happens, kind of gives you an idea of where baseball is looking for the future too. Tampa's so far behind where we are. It's unbelievable. And now I just brought you the issues of Anaheim, ownership issues, money issues, ballpark issues. There's, in the end, the goal, and the commissioner has told you, the goal is to expand to 32 teams. But it keeps sprouting up. There's issues. Tampa is so far from having a real plan. They are so far behind. And now I'm bringing you these problems that I know are brewing in Anaheim. Brewing. They've had political issues, criminal issues. They've had, if you read up on this thing, you follow it in the LA Times and also the Orange County Register, there's problems. So this vote for relocation, I don't know how they're going to vote, but it'll tell you a lot. I think that's the number 1 thing because it sets up for not only what happens with the athletics, but it also sets up for future stuff too.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'll give you mine real quick before we get to Mark Kotze. Does Juan Soto get number 5? Does Juan Soto get traded for the 2nd straight trade deadline?
No.
Will the Rays go coast to coast? Everyone keeps saying Baltimore is going to take over. Toronto is going to win the division. Can the Rays go coast to coast?
And can the media handle it?
Already no.
Like everybody's trying to predict that the Rays are like they cannot handle. It's like it's not good for the Northeast business. If you watch the All-Star game, if you watch the post-game show, that's the worst thing ever. I hate to step on this on you, but real quick, you got Jeter, you got Big Papi, and you got A-Rod, and they're asking them, and everything is Red Sox Yankee centric. All of a sudden, Jeter's got Soto going to the Yankees. Big Papi, who did he have going to New York?
I wasn't watching.
I mean, Big Papi had somebody going to
I remember him as a Twin.
I think he had Ohtani going to the Red Sox. I mean, it was just like, it's just like, do you guys think that this is all we care? Like, you can't really believe, you wonder why the All-Star game was the lowest rated All-Star game. They have made this thing so New York, Boston, East Coast centric, the broadcast. It's just like, enough.
3, can the Cleveland Guardians repeat in the Central? Because I tell you, because we're playing the Twins and they're a half game behind the Guardians entering play today.
Yeah.
2, Ronald Acuna in the pursuit of 40, 70, 100, and 100. It's pretty remarkable. 40 home runs, 70-plus steals, 100 runs scored, and 100 runs driven in.
Okay, you're just saying a guy's pursuing. What's the prediction?
Oh, can he get there? Can
well,
he
you're
get
just asking a question. Why you got to give me that's your storyline?
Yeah, can he get those slash line?
Okay.
Because we're talking about 40-40 from, well, he's already at 42 stolen bases.
He plays in Atlanta, so no one will cover it, unfortunately. But he's incredible. It's like everybody who talked about a great Juan Soto. Acuna is a better player than Soto by far.
And finally, it has to do with Ohtani, but not Ohtani leaving. Will Ohtani break Aaron Judge's American League home run record? He's currently on pace for 57.
Ooh. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
He's pitching tonight.
Yeah, he is. Who they playing? They're playing right now.
So, there's a lot of interesting stuff. If you really just follow the game on a daily basis, unfortunately for a lot of you, football season will come and you will check out of all these certain things. But look at what we're talking about. Talking about Ohtani passing Judge. I'm talking about.
Oh, he's pitching against the Astros. Yeah.
That's an interesting thing. That battle of the West. Can the Rangers hold on? I think Aaron Boone and the Yankees falling short again. I mean, at what point are the Yankees like, man, what do the Yankees have left other than Aaron Judge? What do they have?
Well, he's not playing, so.
I mean, what do they have?
Garrett Cole.
Once again, they're an older team that's really expensive, and how much capital do they have in the minor leagues? I mean, think about that. I mean, Toronto, this is Toronto's time. If Toronto falls short, I mean, here the Rays are. The Ohtani story about traded or not. Well, if he gets traded, okay, then who knows? But if he doesn't get traded, that's 2 weeks of everybody talking about he gets traded and he doesn't get traded.
Yeah. Well, the biggest one.
I mean, this trading deadline could be an absolute bomb. Nothing major.
Marcus Stroman could be the biggest name traded.
And if that's your,
So here we go. This ties perfectly into Mark Kotze. This should be the most important one for us. Will Tyler Soderstrom lead the team in home runs?
I think it's going to be tough.
I'm just trying to help you out.
Because
I picked Aletmus Diaz, and that doesn't.
Yeah, because Rooker's got 16.
Yeah.
And I got to think he'll hit a couple more. So,
but he could be traded. So Sodi could.
Still, that's a lot of home. Yeah, but if Sodi comes in, it's 20 bombs.
Get 20 in Vegas ready.
How many games we got left?
We're 92. So what is that? That would be 60? 60
games left? A lot
of
bombs for a rookie. But
what? You can tell me you can't hit 20 in 60 games? Did in Vegas. The different environment. Completely.
Different climate.
Different everything.
Different everything. Different climate. Far different climate. But, I mean, this is an exciting time, man. Gives you something to watch. I'm excited for tonight. I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm excited for Sunday. You know what? This is a 10-game homestand. We got 2 different long homestands. This is the first of 2 10-game homestands in the second half.
The other one's in September. I think it's the 16th to 25th or something.
There's a 20-game stretch here where the A's are only going to leave California one time.
Wow. Johnny corrected me. It's actually 70 games left. The great Johnny Dosco.
Johnny D's listening?
He's standing by for A's Total Access.
Where is the great Johnny D right? Is Johnny D on radio or TV?
He's doing radio with the great Ken Korak.
So I'll be talking to Johnny D after the ball game.
Correct. He's standing by. A's Total Access brought to you by
Chevron.
There you go. So we better.
I love it.
We better get the Kotze then.
Give me some Johnny D. How about Johnny D? You think Johnny's got to be excited? See, this is right up Johnny's alley because Johnny's seen these guys.
Yeah, for a while.
Yeah, Johnny's seen these guys. I mean, he could be our boots on the ground when it comes to the scouting report. I got Shooty Babbitt's scouting report. You want it real quick? Do we have time?
No, because Kotze's 15 minutes, so we got to go.
Okay. Enjoy, A's fans. We've been asking for this. Enjoy. Sodas from Geloff. Before you know it, Butler's going to be here. Harris is going to be here. Come on. The kids are finally here. Here is the manager of the Oakland Athletics, Mark Kotze. For the Mark Kotze Show right here on A's Cast Live and A's Cast, brought to you by Nest Bedding. Love where you sleep for all your bedding needs. Your mattress, your sheets, your pillows, you name it. You go to one of their stores in the Bay Area or you go online to nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Love where you sleep. All right, Mark Kotze, time to get off the beach, put the sunscreen away, put the surfboard away. The second half, are you excited, ready to rock?
I am. I'm excited about the second half. Obviously, there's some change taking place here, and all good, all in the right direction. I think that the A's fans should be excited about it.
Yeah, I think the news when it came out energized the fan base because you've been waiting, you've been hearing about Soderstrom, you've been hearing about Geloff, you've read about him, you've heard about him. We've had both the guys on here on A's Cast Live. There always is, when a team is looking to get better in the future, a lot of energy around the young kids coming up. I can tell you, if you look at all of our social platforms, my cell phone, all these A's fans are super fired up. What's it like for the manager?
No, it is exciting. You think back to, your own career, and when I got called up at 21 on a team in 97 with the Marlins, and how exciting that was, and to step into that major league locker room for the first time. There's going to be some butterflies for sure. There's going to be some growing pains for Tyler and for Zach. And don't forget to mention Freddie Tarnok as well. So these three kids are going to walk into that locker room today with a lot of energy, a lot of excitement. And I think it's going to be great for our ball club.
When you think about that team in 97, you were going to an established team that would win the World Series. Obviously, we're not looking at that with the A's. So what's it going to be like for these kids? Because they're going to get a lot of playing time.
Yeah, I mean, it's more reflective of my 98 season. And, in 97, I was only there for 18 days. So in and out, I did my job, but in 98, starting out the season and looking in the locker room, it was a little different feeling. It was Mike Lowell,
Yeah.
It was Alex Gonzalez, it was Luis Castillo, it was Preston Wilson, Kevin Millar. So these are all names that obviously became very established big leaguers for several years, 10+ year careers. And so I think these guys are walking into that situation more than what I did in 97. But anytime, you get this chance to put on a big league uniform, to represent the organization that drafted you in Tyler and Zach, I think these guys are going to have a lot of pride when they take the field. They're going to play with a lot of passion, and they deserve this. Both of them have done a nice job this year in AAA. They've put up good numbers, and, we're hoping that translates to the big leagues.
As you mentioned, there's going to be some bumps in the road. It's a roller coaster ride. There's going to be highs. There's going to be lows. What is the key for you? What is the key for the coaching staff to help these kids when they're going through the lows?
Yeah, I think you've seen it this year so far. I think, the coaching staff in April, we realized what we needed to get done, how much we needed to dig in and teach. And I think that's just the same message for what we're getting into with Zach and with Tyler. Tyler's going to be, challenged with a lot on his plate. He's going to play catcher some. He's going to play first base, and he'll get some DH at bats. And so that's challenging. When you get to the big leagues, the catching position, as we've seen with Shea, is the most difficult to accelerate progress in. And I think the biggest thing for these guys is to keep them confident, to just keep working them, as we're going to do with this ball club. We've come a long way. We're more competitive now than we were in April and May. And we want to continue in that direction, and that's the goal of the coaching staff, and I think that's the goal of the players in the room.
Have you really thought about actual playing time, how it's going to work with Tyler? Because as you mentioned, you got Shea behind the plate. You've got Ryan Noda, who's trying to establish himself at first base. Obviously, you mentioned DH, but you want this kid to play a lot of defense too. Have you thought about exactly how it's going to work?
Yeah, I mean, I can show you my notes, but also, Blake, you talked about the beach and the surfing. This guy doesn't surf, but There was some downtime, Sunday night, Monday night, and into Tuesday. But once I, found out that, we were going to make this change in direction with these players coming to the big leagues, there was time spent in kind of just thinking through their processes and how I can help them not only keep them fresh, but keep them, in the right frame of mind. They're going to play the majority of the time and have this experience. And, we're going to watch their successes and their failures and evaluate that. But, for Tyler, I don't want to, grind him into, catching and playing first and not getting some time off as well. So there's a balance to it. And we'll watch their, workloads as it's called now, instead of just how much their body can handle. And I think that's kind of key for Tyler. And, Zach is a strong kid. He's going to want to play every day as well.
Yeah, and let's not forget Jordan Diaz. Let's not forget Ruiz. So is that what the plan now in the second half is we're going to see mostly the young guys? And obviously that'll be a tough conversation for you with some of the veterans.
Yeah, no question. I think, obviously still, Tony, I mean, we're here to win games. So these young guys have to perform, and I won't let guys sit on the bench for an extended period of time. That's just not how I like to manage. I like to involve everybody. I think all 26 guys can help this club win. So we are going to still continue to do that. We're still going to continue to play everyone and give these guys chances to have success. And, there's still a big date out there in 2 weeks from now. There's a trading deadline as well. So, this ball club has some pieces I feel like that might get moved, that might be able to go on and help a team win. But for right now, where we are here and now, the young guys are going to get those at bats, and we're going to mix those veteran guys in and hopefully have success.
As you were sitting back during the All-Star break, I don't manage the team. I'm just a guy who's around the team. I thought about a lot of stuff. What is it like for you during the All-Star break when you kind of get a chance to unplug, sit back, reflect on the first half, think about the second half, the direction of where you want the team to go? What was this All-Star break for you? And if you could share some of those thoughts.
Yeah, I think as I left Boston Sunday, I kind of tried to detach, really, give myself a 48-hour period of not trying to think about baseball, where we're at as a club, and just spend time with my family, really. When Wednesday rolled around, the phone started blowing up a little bit more, in terms of what was happening and phone calls that need to be made and attachment again. You lock back in and really start focusing on, the future and the preparation for a second half. So I did get 2 good quality days. I got to see my former bench coach, Brad Osmus, in the Cape, and really spend Monday with him and his family, and had a clam bake, which was amazing.
Nice.
Done that. So, yeah, that was really cool. The East Coast, Cape Cod, we didn't catch a game, but it's a place that holds kind of some special memories for myself. After my freshman year in college, I went out there and played in the league, and my family being in Boston when I played for the Red Sox would go out there and spend a couple of days on vacation. So there was a lot of peace for those first 2 days, and then again, it started to kind of digest the workload and start making phone calls, reaching out to these young players and congratulating them, having a tough conversation with a guy like Tyler Wade, who we designated for assignment. Again, this is his second time going through this process, but he's decided to stay with the organization. He'll be back in Vegas. So there's also work involved as well.
Clam bakes are legit.
Yeah, it was great. The lobster was amazing. It had corn, it had mussels, clams, potatoes. So yeah, I didn't get any skinnier on the All-Star break.
Well, good for you. You need it. Obviously, when you're a team that, you're in first place, you hit that All-Star break, you want a little bit of a break. You can't wait to get back. But when you've been going through what you're going through, it's a mental grind. It's tough. And as competitive as you are, it's not easy. So I'm glad you detached. Kind of some goals, or what do you want to see? What exactly do you want to see, or some goals that you may have for this club, going young or not? As you said, still about winning games. What do you want to see in the second half?
Yeah, I want to see us to continue to be competitive. We have been competitive over the last month, I think, in that stretch. At one point, I think if you had looked at the last 26 games, we were 13-13, which is solid for where we started out from. So I think, continued progress in the right direction, doing the fundamental things right. Boston, we didn't play well in Boston the first 2 days, and it showed. The last day, we again didn't execute the fundamentals in a game where we could have added on. We were up 3-1. We had a chance to go up 5-1. We couldn't get a bunt down several times, and we made some base running mistakes. So cleaning up those little things, Townie, really, and from those young guys, eliminating those mistakes and teaching them what it means to be a championship type team, executing 1-1 count, fastballs or for strikes, or breaking balls for landing breaking balls behind in the count. I think we've seen progress with JP Sears, and really he's establishing himself as a major league starter. I want to see that from Ken Waldachuk. Freddie Tarnock's going to get called up today, and he's going to get an opportunity to show what he can do. So you go through these guys, these young guys, Brett Harris, again, on the mound, really wanting to see them, take the reins and start running with it. And, we're going to have some impact this second half on some of these winning teams that we're going to play. And that's the goal. The goal is to win as many games as possible in the second half, and, keep our heads down and play good quality baseball, and teach these kids how to be a championship type team.
Just one thing on the draft before we let you go. I was thinking about it because, we started seeing all the different picks coming across. And I just thought, man, if there was any place that I would like to get drafted, knowing the yellow brick road leading right to the big leagues is this organization right now. It's like you're not blocked. You show up, you're legit, you put up numbers, you'll be here faster than probably any other organization. I don't know if you'll ever get a chance. I know you'll talk to some of these kids probably down at spring training, but am I looking at it the right way? This is exactly what you want to play in the big leagues. You're going to have, if you put up the numbers and you do the right things, you've got the fastest path to the big leagues. These kids were just drafted by the A's.
No, I couldn't agree more, honestly, Townie. And I thought our draft went well. I thought we added to the organization where there's some deficiency, and that's on the mound. I think we took 11 pitchers out of 21 picks. We took a lot of college arms in the middle of the draft. And I think we reached for a couple high school arms that should have impact as well. So I think on the mound, if you're looking at it and you got drafted by this organization, you're collegiate type pitcher, you've got a fast track if you go out and dominate. And that's the key, really. And when I say dominate, for me, you go out and pitch in AAA, you should be pitching, if you're a starting pitcher, you should be pitching 6-7 innings a start. And when you're, really, at that level, I think there's an opportunity for you to get to the big leagues at an accelerated path. So even from the position side, as you talk about, there is a ton of opportunity in this organization. But I still think that, for us at the major league level, our job is, again, we go back to winning games, but teaching them how to be championship players. And that's really the detail of the game. And I think, in development, we're going to really focus and lean on that message that, you want to get to the big leagues, you've got to do everything right.
Well, I can tell you, a lot of people are excited. The kids are coming up. Great stuff. Good luck in the second half. And, of course, we'll talk to you next week.
Sounds great, Tony. Thanks.
It's the Mark Kotze Show right here on A's Cast and A's Cast Live. And the sponsor of the Mark Kotze Show is Nest Bedding. Check out their locations in the Bay Area for all your bedding needs, your mattress, your pillow, your sheets, you name it. Or you go to nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. This is Chris Townsend, and it is summertime. You want to look your best, and I can't tell you how excited I am. Commander Cody, we've got our new shipment from Link Soul, all the summer gear. So whether you're playing golf or you're going out for dinner, you're hanging out with your buddies, or you're going to the beach, go see our friends at linksoul.com. And right now they have an offer where you can get 20% off. Go to linksoul.com. Remember, in the big leagues, look good, play good.
This has been a presentation of the Oakland Athletics.